Yes, good evening, students. Welcome to the 12th lecture of wastewater management subject. Today, in this evening class, we'll complete the balance topics, that is, industries, which we have left in the morning session. So, in the morning session, we have covered the industries like tannery industries, sugar industries, and some sort of pharmaceutical industries. So, the balance distilleries, food processing, and dairy industries we will discuss in this class. So the question paper is already sent to your exam section. So we will discuss the important questions also later once the class is completed. And also the important questions to be what we got the important questions in the external exams. We see that one also, right? Yes. So the industries what we have to discuss, balance industries or balanced industries or distillery industries, dairy industries, food industries, and pharmaceutical plants, right? So we'll discuss these units, these industries now. So it will easily completed. So the sugar industry, what we have discussed in the morning session, is already completed, right? Is already completed. So what are the manufacturing process in the sugar? So everything is discussed. I will send you the PPT also. Don't worry. So right. The sources, the characteristics, the effect of receiving water, all we have discussed in the morning session. Now the tanneries of wastewater, how the leather process is going on, what are the four stages of tanning process. So these are the four stages: pre-tanning process, tanning process, wet tanning or post-tanning, and finishing operations. These are the wastewater treatment. And the wastewater treatment, we are having four types of treatments. That is mechanical treatment, effluent treatment, post-purification, sedimentation, and sludge handling process. So these things we have discussed in the morning session. Now we'll discuss about the pharmaceutical industries. So the water consumption and the water discharge for pharmaceutical industries are quite large. The wastewater of pharmaceutical formulation is well as bulk drug industries contain many organic and inorganic and synthetic drugs. The natural drug products which are derived mostly from macroscopic plants and occasionally from animals. So generally the drugs are of three types. One is organic drugs, inorganic drugs, and synthetic drugs, or this antibiotics, right? The synthetic drugs are manufactured in the factory using a process similar to that of the organic chemicals. Most of the waste are toxic in nature. Most of the waste coming from the pharmaceuticals are toxic in nature, toxic to biological life, and usually characterized by high BOD, COD, and TS. So in the pharmaceutical plants, the waste coming from the tablets manufacturing company, the pharmaceutical companies, those are high toxic materials which are which affect the biological life and contains high BOD, high COD, and high total solid waste from these plants are either highly alkaline or highly acidic in nature. Right? Next point. The various types of drugs in the pharmaceuticals. So first one is a natural drugs. The natural drugs are which are derived mostly from macroscopic plants and occasionally from animals. So natural drugs second just only. So we are extracting from the plants as well as from the animals. So generally, if you see some Ayurveda products or some sort of herbal products, so we are getting the drugs naturally from the plants and animals. Many alkaloids such as strychnine and brucine comes from this category. Next, second one is a synthetic drugs. These drugs are manufactured in the factory using process similar to that of the organic chemical, that is aspirin, some form of sulfur drugs, and orthopedician drugs, what we are taking for bone, body pains. All this comes for the synthetic drugs. Next one is antibiotic drugs. These drugs are manufactured by microorganisms during their normal metabolic reactions. Example, penicillin and other streptomycin. So these are the antibiotics which are manufactured by microorganisms. So which will increase the metabolism rate of the human beings. Whenever we are using antibiotics, automatically we can save from other diseases like fungus, flu, fever, typhoid, etc. Next, if you see the cyclic process, routes of pharmaceutical entry into the environment. So what are the various ways of pharma environment loki enter avadడానికి what are the various ways or routes for the pharmaceutical companies? So if you see, this one is a pharmaceutical plant. So this is a pharmaceutical plant. Here, from here, see here, releases to the environment or municipal waste. So pharmaceutical industries launch వచ్చే waste water, industrial effluents are released into the environment. ఎలా వస్తున్నాయి? సో ఇలా వస్తున్నాయి. In the industrial effluents ద్వారా, pipes ద్వారా direct connection from the industries to the water channels, that is a rivers or streams. So like this wastewater is coming into the environment. Then again, దీనిలో ఏం జరుగుతుంది? దీనిలో మిక్సింగ్ ఆఫ్ వాటర్, న్యాచురల్ వాటర్ మిక్స్ అయ్యి again they are coming to the environment in the form of flowing rivers, right? So other side is human and veterinary drugs. So from the industries through the hospitals, they are getting in the form of human drugs and veterinary drugs. So from these drugs, here what happens? This waste or the drugs are coming to the aquatic or agricultural runoff. Veterinary means the drugs related to the animals. So aquatic animals and agricultural animals, ki pet dogs like this, these drugs are used for this thing. And later this are again the pollutant, these are again discharging into the environment. These are coming again to the environment. So the human drugs are coming to where? The human drugs are coming to the human waste, improperly disposed drugs, and also the hospital wastage. All these human related drugs are again coming to the wastewater treatment plant. So the releases of wastewater, effluent water into the atmosphere, again the same thing passes into the wastewater plant. So from this wastewater plant, again these are disposed to the environment. So finally, whatever the process is going on, whatever the matter is coming direct way or indirect way, finally it is reaching the environment. In how many ways? From the effluent water, from the human waste, from the animal waste. So like this, in different ways, the pharma effluent is coming into the environment. Got it? So this is a rough diagram for the pharmaceutical origin or roots enter into the environment. If you see the characteristics of synthetic drugs, the synthetic drug plants utilizes large number of both organic and inorganic chemicals and usually produce a variety of drugs in different sections of the plant. The volume and composition of liquid waste not only vary from the plant to plant. So plant to plant, it will not vary the volume. What is the volume means? The production of the pharmaceuticals can vary from plant to plant, but also from section to section in a plant, producing different types of drugs from different raw materials using different processes. Therefore, a typical plant cannot be considered in a synthetic drug industry. So if you see, majority of the pharmaceutical plants are located in Himachal Pradesh. Why? Because of the government providing less subsidies in those states, and also pollution free Himachal Pradesh. So we can manufacture the drugs, and also we are having the SEZ provided by the government of Himachal Pradesh. Means special economic zone category kinda they can produce. For example, you are a pharmacy student and you written some exams regarding the pharma and you got some drug license. You had a just like voter card or driving license. So when you qualify or write some exams related to the pharma and you get any drug license, then you are eligible for manufacturing of the tablets. Then you are eligible. You have license to manufacture the products, manufacture the tablets. But one thing, so for that you cannot keep directly a pharmaceutical plant and you can start doing them production. So there is no need. Just if you know the, for example, if you are into orthopedician, so if you have the eligibility to manufacture the tablets related to the orthopedicians. Orthopedicians means bones, swelling, body pains. So like this, orthopedicians related to the bones and skeleton system. Then you can approach to any big pharma companies, those who are doing regular mass production. You can write your own names for the taxonomy, own names for the drug names you can write on your own from your licensed version, and you can send to the quotation or send to the information to those industries. Thereby they will manufacture the products or with your name and with your firm name, and they will send to concerned parties. Then you are eligible to market, or you are eligible to represent those medicines to the hospitals, to the doctors, and also the medical shops. So like this, we are having a process. In general, most of the waste are toxic to biological life and usually consist of high BOD, COD, and TS. Okay, so the characteristics of antibiotic drugs. Origin, characteristics of antibiotic drugs. Antibiotics and vitamins are produced by the fermentation of fairly complex nutritions, organic matter inorganic. So ఇవన్నీ ఎగ్జామ్కి రావు, జస్ట్ ఐఎమ్ డిస్కసింగ్, మీకు అర్థం కావడం కోసం నేను పంపి చెప్తున్నాను. In the production of penicillin, molds of penicillin notatum chistignum group are cultured under the submerged aerobic conditions. So I think this is not necessary. Next, pharmaceutical wastewater treatment. How the wastewater is treated in the pharmaceutical. So see here the typical treatment results. So in every plant, the typical treatment results are COD reduction, TSS reduction. High ga untai kabatti whenever you are using in the water, those are high. So generally what you should do, we have to reduce those percentage. Means COD reduction, TSS reduction, phosphorus reduction, COD reduction, and TSS reduction. So the pharmaceutical wastewater streams can be, the pharma wastewater streams can be different to treat with the conventional physical, chemical, and biological treatment systems. High chemical oxygen demand, COD, variable strength waste streams, and shock loads are just few of the conditions that limit the effectiveness of these conventional systems. Physical chemical systems are the common method of treating the pharmaceutical wastewater. So what are the wastewater treatment, physical treatments and chemical treatments? However, the systems are limited due to the high sludge production and relatively low efficiency of dissolved COD removal. Next, biological aerobic treatment systems are also used extensively, often with the limited success due to the final clarification step. Okay, this is not necessary. So like this, you can see the pharmaceutical waste. So I'll provide the PPT for you. I'll provide the notes also. I think I have given the notes for you also. But pharma, right? Now see, I'll provide this one for you. Pharmaceutical industries. The pharmaceutical industry manufactures biological products, medicinal chemicals, botanical products, and the pharmaceutical producers covered by the standards of industrial classification. So these are characterized by the products, processes, plant sizes, as well as the wastewater quality and quantity. So the categorization of production of pharma company is, so the manufacture using variety of processes include chemical synthesis, fermentation process, extraction process, and other complex methods. So the fermentation plants, synthetic and organic chemical plants, and moderate to large plants. So the points under this fermentation plants, chemical plants, and fermentation and synthetic plants. Next, biological production plants. So like this, we are having various plants under pharma. That is fermentation plants, synthetic organic plants, fermentation and synthetic organic plants, biochemical, biological production plant. Next, significant parameters in pharma wastewater. So BOD measurements of the waste have been reported to increase greatly with the dilution, indicating the presence of toxic and inhibitory substances in some pharma effluents, right? The parameters of, so if you see, the parameters of significance for pharma industries are physical treatment entity, pH value, temperature, odor, smell, BOD, COD, dissolved oxygen, total OC, total suspended solids, etc. Oil and grease, nitrogen, sulfides, and toxicity. Now, the treatment of pharma wastewater. So, how to treat the pharma wastewater? So, separate filtration of miscellaneous drying and recovery, solvent recovery, cooling towers for use of cooling and jacketing waters, elimination of barometric condensers, extensive neutralization and pH adjustment. So these are the various things for the water treatment in pharmaceutical industries. So you can read all these topics. Next. The treatment options cited above are the very specific to the type of waste. Okay, the treatment process can be divided into three categories. What are the three categories? As already everyone know that physio-chemical treatment process, biological treatment process. In that biological, we are having aerobic treatment, anaerobic treatment, two-stage treatment, combined treatment, integrated treatment, and other treatment things. Right. So these are the treatment process where we will discuss. Physicochemical treatments. So where under this you are having the physicochemical treatments, activated such biological treatment process. You can read on your own. There is no problem. So this is about the pharmaceutical process, and also have given the information about the milk also. That is the sugar industry also, right? Sugar industry. Next, sugar industry 5-6 unit 5-6 screen. What is this one? Okay, you are sharing the screen. Okay. Next, we'll see about what is there here? Yeah. Treatment of dairy processing wastewater. About the dairy processing. Dairy means the milk process. So I'll provide the information. Don't worry. The dairy industry is generally considered to be the largest source of food processing wastewater in many countries, as awareness of importance of improved standards of wastewater. All the steps in the dairy chain, all the steps in the dairy chain, including what? Production. So what are the steps? See the steps in the dairy chain. First one is the production process, processing, packaging, transportation. Production, processing, packaging, transportation. These are the general chain in a dairy forms, but the processing is separate. Okay, so transportation, storage of milk, distribution, marketing, impact to the environment. These are the general dairy chain. Every company or every industry or every country, you are having these processes. One is a production, processing, packaging, transportation, storage, distribution, marketing, and impact the environment. Moving to highly diversified nature of the industry, various product processing, handling, packaging operations create the waste of different quality and quantity. So it depends upon the types and categories of industries. It may be the small plant, medium plant, large plants. So they are having different operations created the waste of different quality versus quantity. Next, in general, waste from the dairy processing industry. In general, the waste coming from the dairy processing industry contains high concentrations of organic material, such as what are the high concentrations? Waste, proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, high concentration of suspended solids, high BOD, high COD, high nitrogen concentrations, high suspended solids, contains large variations of pH, which necessitates special treatment so as to prevent or minimize the environmental problems. Right? So these are the waste coming from the dairy plant. So we have to minimize the environmental problems. The dairy waste streams are also characterized by wide fluctuations in flow rate, which are related to the discontinuity in the production cycles of the different products. All these aspects work to increase the complexity of the waste treatment, right? So, for students who See the various processes. If you see the various process in the formation of sugar industries, so the various process are pasteurization process, powderization process, buttermilk, butter making, ghee making, cheese making, preparation of whole milk and skimmed milk. So from the dairy plant, the other products what you are manufacturing from the dairy plant, the other process what you are manufacturing is so pasteurization, powderization, that is milk powder, butter making, ghee making, cheese making, and the whole milk and the skimmed milk. So like this, we are having different variations in the dairy processing thing. So this is a case study flowchart of treating Vikas Doodh dairy waste. So the name of the company is Vikas Doodh Dairy. For example, in a Sangam dairy, how we are having, in the same in other state, we are having those things. Next, next. So I'll provide the detailed thing. See how they are clarified, how the characteristics of composite wastewater. So these are all the characteristics. So these are the values what they have done in the case study, right? So these are the characteristics of the wastewater. These are the characteristics of the effluent water and the treated wastewater. That is untreated. This is treated wastewater, right? Next, let's see the next thing. So the milk is one of the important commodity entering the trades and is required in everyday life. Is an article of food. Since the milk is highly perishable means త్వరగా పాడైపోయే material. Perishable means already I said that milk products, bread items, bakery items, vegetables, fruits, these are all comes under perishable goods, right? Highly perishable. Basic public health and economic consideration is required that consumers should be provided with a product which is of good quality, pure, free from pathogenic bacteria. To maintain the quality standards, quality control operations have to be performed at all the stages of production of milk, which includes maintenance of sanitary conditions at making place, storage, transportation, and handling the milk at reception docks. Right? Next. Milk treatment is a preparation of raw milk, including a heat treatment of precondition of milk processing. The treatment of milk is done in the preparation room. It is the first process of dairy plant, right? The milk processing is a quality oriented activity of manufacturing, packing of dairy based products on the basis of treated milk, right? So if you see the stages of milk, so how they are doing. So you are having the milk receiving station. The milk cans are unloaded at the receiving station and emptied into the receiving tank after testing for fitness and freshness. So at this point, what's the meaning of this point? So the farmers, the cow farmers, so they will give they will give liters of milk, or they will give the cans of milk, or in the dairy plant itself you're having a big herd of cows and buffaloes, right? So every day, with the automatic retrieving systems, they will connect the pipes to the cows, and they will extract the milk, and they will send all this milk through the piping system to the big tank for testing of fitness and freshness. So whenever we are getting the milk from the outside people, they are going for fitness and test. Whenever the milk they are using inside the plant, there is no need of that much priority. Why? Because they are. It is a continuous process, that is a testing and checking them. There is a receiving. So how the wastewater is going, receiving ఎలా జరుగుతుంది process, how the effluent waste is coming out. Next, pasteurization. Pasteurization is accomplished by the heating at some degrees. At some degrees, the milk is then bottled for distribution. So once pasteurization is done for few seconds, for 15 seconds, followed by chilling operation, then the bottling or packaging of the process will be done. Next, cheese making. Cheese is made from the milk in which the fat of protein ratio is adjusted. When the proper degree of settling this curve has been reached, it is cut into pieces and further adjustment to the temperature is then allowed to the settling. Then what is the other things? Buttermilk, skimming milk is also other processes coming from the milk. So like this, the receiving, storaging tank. After the storaging tank, you are going from clarification, standardization, pasteurization, homogenization, deo deodorization, storage tank, packaging, storage, and finally transportation. See here, the effluent sources from various units of milk processing are DS. DS means detergents, WW means wastewater, and ST means steam, CW means cooling water, EF means effluent. So what are the characteristics? The BOD, COD, PF value, all these are the characteristics of this dairy plant. So if you see the characteristics of dairy wastewater, see here, these are the characteristics. COD, BOD, pH value, TSS and TS. ప్రతి కంపెనీ ప్రతి ఇండస్ట్రీస్కి వేస్ట్ వాటర్ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ అన్నప్పుడు ఇవే మీరు రాయండి, రైట్. అండ్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్ ప్రాసెస్ ఇవి ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. సో దిస్ ఆర్ ద కంపెనీ, వేరియస్ కంపెనీస్ అండ్ దేర్ వాల్యూస్. ఇది ఒక కేస్ స్టడీగా తీసుకొని సమ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ హ్యావ్ డన్ ద ప్రాజెక్ట్, రైట్. ఓకే, సో లైక్ దిస్ యు ఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ సమ్ కేస్ స్టడీస్ ఫర్ దిస్ థింగ్స్. So wastewater coming from dairies and cheese industries contain mainly organic and biodegradable materials that can disrupt aquatic and terrestrial ecosystems. So what is the point saying here? So wastewater coming from the dairy plants and cheese plants contains what? Contains organic and biodegradable materials. Containing organic and biodegradable materials that can disrupt aquatic animals, terrestrial ecosystems. It will get some changes. It will get some negative changes. That's why, due to the high pollution load of dairy wastewater, the milk processing industry is discharging untreated, partially treated. So, due to this process, due to the highly pollution load of dairy wastewater, the milk processing industries ఏం చేస్తున్నాయంటే they are discharging untreated or partially treated wastewater causes serious environmental problems. Hence, the importance of carrying out waste treatment as a starting point in order to optimize a simple economic method to treat the whole dairy effluent. Right? Yes. So these are all about your. So if you want to know more, know more knowledge. So if you see, the dairy industry is one of the Babu Moshai. The dairy industry is one of the major food industries in India, and India ranks first among the major milk production nation, said by the scientist, some of the scholar. Milk is a natural food for human and animals. It contains the complete nutrients such as proteins, vitamins, carbohydrates, and fat. The milk is one of the most important commodity entering trades, and it requires in a everyday life as an article of food. అంటే మనకి ఎవ్రీడే మనం వాట్ ఎవర్ ద ఫుడ్ వీఆర్ ఈటింగ్, దట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో ఏ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఎ ఎవ్రీడే లైఫ్. Since milk is highly perishable, basic public health and economic consideration keeping in mind, consumers should be provided with a product which is good quality, pure, free from pathogenic bacteria. Right? Next point. The different types of milks, the different types of milk used in milk processing, the different types of milk used in milk processing plants are, what are the different types of milk we are getting? Skim milk, fluid milk, double tone milk, buttermilk, sour milk, pasteurized milk, single tone, double tone, fat content, like this. So if you see some milk packets, so some milk packets will be only for 3 days, some milk packets will be only for 5 days, like that. But if you see some sort of tetra packing milk packets, which are toned, milk, those milk packets will be the షెల్ లైఫ్ అంటే దాని యొక్క చెడిపోకుండా ఉండే రోజులు అనమాట. సో హౌ మెనీ డేస్ ఇట్ విల్ బీ ఇన్ గుడ్ కండిషన్ మీన్స్ దట్ ఇస్ షెల్ లైఫ్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇఫ్ యూ సీ What is the shell life of a human being? The shell life of a human being is 100 years, we are saying. Then what is the shell life of a tortoise? The shell life of a tortoise is more than 300 or 180 years. So what is the shell life of a what do you call, what is the shell life of a mosquitoes? It may be 1 day or half day. So like this, the shell life అంటే ఎంతవరకు ఉంటుంది, ఎంతవరకు ఆర్గానిక్, ఎంతవరకు లివింగ్ కాన్సెప్ట్ లో ఉంటుంది. ఇన్ ద సేమ్ వే వాట్ ఇస్ ద షెల్ లైఫ్ ఆఫ్ ఏ ఎగ్? సో maximum 3 or 4 days, or else it will become rotten. Like this, the shell life of a milk for some tetra packing packets are about 90 days. So if you go to any big supermarkets and take any milk packets rather than normal packets which are available in the roadside or early morning, మీకు ఎర్లీ మార్నింగ్ దొరికే పాల ప్యాకెట్స్ రోడ్ సైడ్ కానీ షాప్స్లో కానీ, అపార్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ దట్ ఇఫ్ యూ గో టు ఎనీ బిగ్ సూపర్ మార్కెట్స్ అండ్ గో టు ఎనీ ఫ్రీజర్ and if you want to take any milk packets, if you see some sort of tetra packing companies, same whatever the Sangam dairy, whatever the other what you call uh, Tirumala dairy, or whatever the other milk products you are having, that is Hudson. So they will prepare some sort of milk which lasts for 90 days. So 90 days మనకి ఫ్రిడ్జ్ లో పెట్టినా కూడా the milk will have good quality, right? So like this, you are having different types of milk coming from the dairy. There are many milk industries producing such as drinking milk, cheese, Shrikhand, butter, ice cream, milk products, yogurt, etc. These products are originated from the fluid milk and crude, why also produced from the skimmed milk. See here. The effluent from the milk processing units contain what? Soluble organics, suspendable solids, trace organics, which releases gases, causes taste and odor, import color, and promote vitrification. Right? See here, the pollution control, effluents, PHTS, అన్నిటికీ ఇవే ఉంటుంది, అన్నిటికీ ఇవే ఉంటాయి. So like this, you can see the parameters also, same things. Treatment, the dairy water treatment. So treatment of dairy waste. Why we should give the treatment of dairy waste? Dairy wastewater have low COD and BOD ratio, and it can be treated efficiently by biological process. These waste contain sufficient nutrients for bacteria growth, and this can be prevented by spills, leakages, and dropping of the milk from cans. So whenever we are converting from one container to other container, we should be carefully done. So spills, leakages, dropping of the milk should be avoided. The requirement of water can be minimized during the washes by segregating the uncontaminated cooling water and recycling the same thing. So like this, you are having, the time is okay. So we'll see the next thing. Okay. So we'll see about what is the next industry. Pharma is over, dairy is over, food processing, and distilleries. Right, distilleries. We'll see about the distilleries. So I'll provide the major notes. Don't worry. By with that you can distilleries. Yes. So distillery industries. The distilleries industries uses sugarcane molasses, cereals, and other agro products and producing alcoholic beverages. Distilleries are producing of alcoholic beverages. They use the raw materials from the sugarcane industry as molasses, cereals, and other agro-based products. Okay, wheat, wheat powder, for example, taudu, wheat, maida. So like this, they will take from agro-based companies, and also they will take from the sugarcane industries, that is molasses, for the preparation of alcoholic beverages. The production of fermented and distilled drinks throughout the world is based on materials that can be grown locally and is best suited for prevailing climatic conditions. In the distillery, the ethyl alcohol is manufactured by fermentation molasses, right? The molasses coming from the sugar manufacturing units, which is based on the sugar cane or beet sugar. So this is the process going on in the distilleries plant, right? So I'll give the basic information. See here, the distillery industry is today broadly classified into two parts. One is a potable liquor, other one is a industrial alcohol. So potable liquor means whatever the liquor what you are consuming in the form of beer, in the form of rum, in the form of whiskey, in the form of brandy like this. The distillery industries are classified into two types. First classification is potable liquor. Second classification is industrial alcohols. Industrial alcohols, for example, the sanitizer. For example, in recent days, you have seen in many papers and news also, sanitizers consume చేసి చాలా మంది చనిపోయారు because of shortage of liquor. So that liquor, what you are adding in the sanitizer, that is other alcohol which is separately used for industrial purposes, right? So like this. The portable distillery producing country liquor has steady but limited demand growth is about 8% per annum. The industrial alcohol industry, on the other hand, is showing a declining trend because high price of molasses, which is invariably used as the substrate for producing the alcohol, right? Process and production of distillery industry. Distilleries use different kinds of raw material. మనం ముందుగానే చెప్పుకున్నట్టు distilleries are having different types of raw materials such as sugarcane juice, sugarcane molasses, sugarcane beet molasses, and wine or corn for production of alcohol. The cycle of raw material starts from the farms. The sugar manufacturing process broadly involves the okay. This is all the I'll provide the I mean పంపిస్తాను మీకు ఇది చెక్ చేసుకున్న తర్వాత అయితే why because I'm running fast ఇంకొక 2 days చెప్పొచ్చు but that is not proper way of sending the giving the information. Why because each class 2 days లో two each unit 2 days two topics లో చెప్పమన్నారు so that's why we are completing in fast but keep in mind all the units are completely covered in the class itself only, right or wrong? ప్రతిదీ నేను క్లాస్లో కవర్ చేశాను, ప్రతిదీ మీరు నోట్స్ రాసుకున్నారు, మెటీరియల్ ఇచ్చాను, క్లాస్లో డిస్కస్ చేశాను. సో దట్స్ వై ఐ ఆమ్ మూవింగ్ వెరీ ఫాస్ట్ ఇన్ దిస్ వాట్ ఎవర్ యూ కాల్ దిస్ repetitive classes, right? So I am not in hurry, but the time is short. సో నేను మీకు సపరేట్గా చేసిస్తాను ఈ టాపిక్స్ అన్ని, డోంట్ వరీ. So for this mid exam, so I'll give some questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think you are having 7 questions. I'll give total 10 questions. 10 questions నుంచి మీకు వస్తుంది. Or else I will give the questions. So read that questions only. Questions materials కూడా already మీ దగ్గర ఉన్నాయి. And also in this PPTs also it is available. And also from the PDF files also it is available, right? See, for this in the distilleries also, the characteristics or the color, the temperature, low pH. So there is no confusion. Don't worry about the what are the characteristics of different industries. అన్ని ఇండస్ట్రీస్ కి వాటర్ గురించి మనం మాట్లాడుకుంటాం కాబట్టి అన్నిటికీ ద క్యారెక్టర్స్ ఆర్ సేమ్. ఓకే రైట్. Distilleries producing high count of smelling waste. Okay, no issues. Treatment of distillery industries effluent. So how the water is treated అన్నప్పుడు సేమ్ మళ్ళీ ప్రైమరీ ప్రాసెస్, సెకండరీ ప్రాసెస్ అండ్ టెరిషరీ ప్రాసెస్. సో ప్రైమరీ ప్రాసెస్ ఏం చెప్తున్నాము, ఇన్ ద ప్రైమరీ ప్రాసెస్ వీఆర్ డిస్కసింగ్ అబౌట్ ద ఫిజికల్ ప్రాపర్టీస్, రైట్? ఫిజికల్ స్క్రీనింగ్ ప్రాసెస్, ఈక్వలైజేషన్, ఫ్లోక్యులేషన్, సెడిమెంటేషన్. మనం ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ ఏం చెప్తున్నామో అదే ఇక్కడ చెప్పుకుంటున్నాం. Coming to the secondary treatment, we are discussing about the anaerobic process, aerobic process, COD, BOD, biological treatment, right? Next. So make maximum ఎంతవరకు రాస్తారో అంతవరకు రాయండి content. Not only in the mid exam, in the general exam also. Tertiary or alternative treatment. So దీనిలో ఏం జరుగుతుంది? The various treatment strategies like thermal pretreatment, wet and air oxidation, concentration, anaerobic treatment, and other sludge management are happening in this place, right? solar energy method, wetland. So this is not necessary. So then we go. So like this, we can conclude. And food processing only, that is also very easy. The food waste, the food waste. So food waste, so you're having a variety of food, bakery food you are having, other types of food you are having. But uh, you have to write common things. But mid two exam ki ఇది లేదు, don't worry. For the mid two exam, you don't have this content. Don't get worried. So we're discussing about the questions. See the questions here. Yes. Write the detail. Yes. So if you see the questions coming under this Unit 6 general questions in the main exam, write the detailed note of treatment methods suitable for tanneries industry. Tanneries industries గురించి treatment methods రాయమన్నారు. What are the characteristics and impacts of waste generated from the food processing industries? So food processing industries లో explain the characteristics and the waste. Discuss the treatment unit operations and processes required for the treatment of liquid waste coming from the tanneries industries. What are the effects and control measures in the dairy industry? Differentiate the logic and treatment methodology of waste coming from the dairy and food processing industry. So discuss the origin and effects of distilleries industry. So where it is horrified. So origin ekkadi nunchi sugar cane, cereals, beet. So these are the origins of the distillery industries. What are the manufacturing strategies involved in the tannery industry? Explain in detail. I think ఈ క్వశ్చన్ నేను ఇచ్చాను మిడ్ టు ఎగ్జామ్కి. Share the characteristics along the treatment methods involved in the sugar mills waste. List the effects of waste generated from pharmaceutical plants. Low, what are the waste generated and what are the effects? I think this question I've given. Enumerate the characteristics of waste coming from the dairy industry. Characteristics ఏంటి అదే, the pH value, COD, BOD, TSS, TS. Enumerate the effects of waste generated by the pharmaceutical plants. So characteristics, wastes coming from pharmaceutical plants, dairy plants, and the sugar mills, like this. అన్ని కూడా similar things. See here, list out the effects on waste అన్నాడు, ఇక్కడ కూడా enumerate the effects అన్నాడు. So like this your questions came for your main exam. So once this video is uploaded in the YouTube, I will forward this link to your WhatsApp group, and later I will send the PDF files and doc files in your group so that you can study for your mid-2 exams. And also I'll send some important questions in the PDF or in the doc file also. దానిలోంచి మీకు questions వస్తాయి. If you have any doubt, so at the time of exam, the 16th, 15th రోజు you can talk to me or you can ask me.